Welcome to another episode of Always Ageless, where we talk about anything and everything that helps older adults live better, more fun, fuller, and safer lives. And today we're really excited because we have one of our previous guests from last year back again. She was so popular and we all love her, Elena Flores, a realtor and senior specialist in the Temecula Valley of California. Some of you may know that area as a wine region. Some of you may know it because it has a really darling little old antique village in old Temecula downtown. It's between San Diego and Orange County and Los Angeles. But one thing that makes this area a little bit unique is that it has people who come from outside the area because the weather is great, the prices are reasonable, and it's a wonderful place to retire and to live when you're a little bit older, live out your older life. And if you have children who live in San Diego or Orange County or Riverside or LA, you can still be kind of close, not too close, especially if you don't want to be too close, but you can also have beautiful weather and not be too far away from them. So we asked Elena to come back today and talk to us about her recent experience working with older adults. She has a new Sunday series called Senior Living Sundays we're going to ask her about. And we want to talk about housing today. What's changed? What trends are she seeing? So let's just get right with it and welcome Elena Flores to Always Ageless. Welcome, Elena.
Thank you, Val. It's good to be here and it's good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Elena, we know that another thing that's really interesting about your area is that you have a variety of housing styles.
We
Some
do.
places like maybe Florida, you'll have a lot of high rises, and other areas you'll have, like Phoenix, you have a lot of 55 plus communities, Del Webb type communities. But you have a variety, don't you? You have mobile homes, you have 55 plus communities, you have condominiums. So talk a little bit about what you see in the demographic older adults and their families where you are.
Absolutely, Val. So, first and foremost, what I love about this valley is we have such a huge um, opportunity for so many seniors, whether you are just living on your Social Security and a small pension, you can get into a very nice and clean mobile home park, right? So we have many of those surrounding the valley. But then we also have middle and upper class housing, 55 plus community. So we're very well rounded in that realm. And we see so many people coming from Orange County, San Diego, LA, taking advantage of that.
And let's talk about the weather where you are compared to like Palm Springs.
Sure. So I always share with people that we are very similar to Palm Springs. However, we are about 20 to 30 degrees less.
Well, that's pretty
So,
significant.
yeah, absolutely. So we're still very warm, but not as warm as them. So it's perfect.
And you have a little culture where you are too. You have a performing arts center, I think.
We do. We do. I haven't been there yet, but I think you've been there, right?
I have been. Yes, charming little space downtown.
Yes.
So tell me, is your area for older adults? Let's just focus on older adults. On the new communities, are most of them single stories? Are they all single stories?
Great question, Val. We have both two-story and single level homes, primarily single level homes. The two stories are available, but the single story are definitely more desirable.
So even in the 55 plus communities, people will find two-story floor plans.
Yes, absolutely. In the community called the Colony, yes.
And may I ask, and that's marketed as a 55 plus community?
It is strictly only 55 plus, correct.
Interesting, interesting. So we have one of those in Mission Viejo in South Orange County also. Now, of course, I can't remember the name of it, but so I have to ask you, then do they have downstairs bedrooms?
They do. They have downstairs bedrooms and 1 to 2 bedrooms upstairs. There's one specific floor plan that has a 1 bedroom and a huge living room, kind of loft like upstairs. It's very unique.
And then do any of them offer an option of like a chairlift or any elevator type situations?
There are, but you have to find them because I think that's really on the homeowner to put them in. So if you happen to find one with an elevator or with a chairlift, that's a huge plus for many.
So some people have installed those.
Correct. Yes, they have.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's great. There's a company in here in also down by Mission Viejo, San Clemente, that builds elevators and chairlifts, and I was surprised at how inexpensive they've become, or I should say, less expensive, and the less amount of space that they now take up compared to when they were first marketed. You know, huge of elevators, and now I see them where you can fit them in smaller spaces.
I Yes, definitely. And I think that's such a great opportunity for many who have like a 2-story home that do want to age in place, right? But need to have access to the downstairs without having to walk downstairs. So I think that that's a great option for seniors.
But you've seen some resales where they're already installed.
Yes, I have.
And let me ask you, Elena, what does that do to or for the values of that home? Does it make it more desirable?
It does, but then it's also very it's for a specific buyer, right? So it is more desirable, but for that right buyer. So it does sit a little bit longer on the market.
Really
Hmm.
interesting. And I could see that. And what is the are those equally desirable or undesirable between the stair lift and the elevator? Is an elevator more desirable than a stair lift?
um to be honest with you, Val, I haven't had that opportunity to really have a client who has wanted one or the other. The ones with the elevator, though, I know are desirable. Yeah.
And some of them are built such are manufactured such that they have three clear sides. So they
Yes.
really aren't as obtrusive or
Yes.
invasive in the way the home looks. I saw one recently, Elena, where the people had a curved stairway up to
Mhm.
the second floor, and they edged that elevator right in there where the curve in the stairway was. So then you start on the first floor, and where it curved at the second floor, that's where the doorway was out into that hallway. So it looked like it just kind of belonged right in there.
Absolutely. They do a remarkable job in building these elevators within the homes.
And do any of the people get them built with the home being built, or are most of them installed afterwards?
Um, from what I have seen, it's been done afterwards. But that's
Okay.
not to say that people buying a new construction don't do it. But I just haven't experienced that.
So, in your area, are the builders building new 55 plus communities, or are they kind of landlocked with those?
We do have a few. There is Del Webb who is actively
Mhm.
building out here. So we do have some new construction. There's also a newer community in Summers Bend, in Temecula. So they're actively building new construction out here.
That's great. And are most of the people who buy there from San Diego, Orange County,
Yes,
Riverside, LA?
yes. Many people do move. Yes.
Do you have many implants from Phoenix or transplants, I should say?
Yeah. um, I haven't experienced too many. I have experienced a few in the mobile home market.
All right. Well, that's a perfect segue. Let's talk about mobile homes. So
Yes.
now we've talked about the 55 plus communities, which for practical purposes are considered just regular stick built houses, right? Traditional tract homes, but designed so that the community overall is for a 55 plus buyer. And it's that way because of amenities, pools, golf courses, things like that, right?
Right. Correct.
Okay. So now let's go to mobile homes.
Yeah.
What do you offer in your area for older adults in a mobile home product? What are they likely to find?
They are going to see typically two bedrooms, the typical two bedroom, 1440 square feet, double wides. You do have some triple wides. Um, you have the communities that do have the pool, the spa, the tennis courts. A lot of the communities are now uh, putting in pickleball courts.
Oh,
And I question, I'm like, I wonder if the seniors are using pickleball courts. So the times that I have driven through to show clients, I never see anybody utilizing the pickleball courts.
but in reality, how many people really use the pools?
Right, right. Yeah. They could get a dog park. They have a ballroom. They have a gym. They have a hair salon. So there's a lot of opportunity in the mobile home parks. You just have to find the right one that feels right for you. I was going to say the space rent has been climbing throughout the valley in many of the mobile home communities. Um, you could definitely see them in the high 800s, 800s plus. Some of the
Really?
communities are already at 1,000 and 1,200 just for the space rent.
But if they pay cash for their home, then that's kind of the same as a rent amount.
Correct. Yes.
And then they still pay their own utilities.
And they still pay their own utilities. Correct.
So when someone comes to you, how do they come to you and say, I know I want a mobile home, or do they come to you and say, this is my price range, and then you advise them to what are their best choices?
They do. They two things. They say, this is my price range, and this is what I'm looking for in a park. And you'll be amazed that many of the seniors are already searching before they end up coming to me. They'll be like, I see these here. Can you look into these? So they kind of already have been researching before they have even come to talk to me.
Are most of your buyers contingent upon selling an existing home, or have most of them already sold when they come to you?
Yeah, most of them have already sold when they've come to me. Yes.
Really?
Uh-huh. And most of them, I would say a good 80% of them are cash buyers. I do have a small percentage that is chattel financing, mobile home financing, but it's a very small portion.
So tell our listening audience, what is that?
That chattel financing.
Yes.
So it's specialty financing, right? It's financing on the personal property.
Because a mobile home is personal property, not real property, correct?
Yes, correct. So, and the financing, it's considered specialty financing. So the interest rates are a little bit higher than your traditional FHA, VA, and conventional. You would see interest rates up into like the 8%, 10%. I've seen them even 12%.
And are most of your so the price range wouldn't change, it only changes how they've financed them, correct?
Correct. Yeah. And they, depending upon the credit, they could put as little as 5% down, up to 20% down.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be good. That would be a good
Yeah.
option.
Right.
So that's interesting. So people will sell their homes not knowing for sure where they're going.
Yes. I can't tell you. It's incredible. I can't believe that, they've already sold their home and yet now they need to buy the home. So,
Yes. And then do you have long escrows because they've sold their home, or do people sell their home on a 30-day escrow and then they rent and then they come over to you and then they buy and
yeah,
wait
or
and
they'll
close
stay
it?
with family members, or they'll do a lease back in their home where they'll get to stay in their home for a certain amount of time.
I see that. I see that. So let's talk about that. So far we've talked about the traditional, what we'll call a stick-built home in an older adult 55 plus community. And then we talked about mobile homes. Is there another type of housing that's available in your area?
For the 55 plus, there are
Mhm.
some, well, as you know, there's the assisted living, and I don't do much of the assisted living, although I do want to start visiting those communities so that when one of my existing clients does need to go to an assisted living, I will have the knowledge to be able to share with them what I know about the different communities, right?
Yes. And let me ask you a question. Rather than come, although they may come there initially, but do you find that some of your people, some of your clients will move to you to your area? They're your client, you sell them a home, and then their life changes or their medical situation changes and they need to move again, and maybe they
Yes.
come to you?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, exactly that. The health declines a little bit and they need to either move closer to be with family, or they need to go in like assisted living.
In most cases, then do they sell their homes?
They do. Yes.
Now, I know one thing that's available. I'm kind of getting off the track here a little bit, but let's talk a wee bit about reverse mortgages. So,
Yes.
do people take a reverse mortgage on their home and then one of them stays there, and that money they use to put the other one in, a memory care community or something like that?
I haven't personally experienced that, although I do know people who have. So, yes, that is an option to do that. In fact, I will be, I'm preparing to have a segment on reverse mortgages next month. So, yes.
And how many people, if any, Elena, come to you and use a reverse mortgage to purchase their next home from you?
Not many for purchase, but I have when they're going to sell. So, yeah. So I'll have to
Interesting.
help them contact, because at that point they don't really understand
No.
and contacting the lender. So I sit there with them and help guide them through.
And that's so important because once they've already established a trust with you, they want to have you guide them. They don't want to go to someone that's new, that they haven't established a relationship with, and that they can't really trust.
Absolutely. I had a client who needed to sell, and he knew that he had a reverse mortgage, but didn't know anything about where he was at, or how to go about anything of the sale. So
Uh,
I went over the house and sat there with him and called the lender and got the details that he needed to know about his mortgage.
so I just want to say a little bit of the knowledge that I have about reverse for purchase. That we actually helped a family, a couple, buy a home in your area using a reverse mortgage. They had a situation where they didn't have enough money to put on a down payment on a big house, but they could afford one where you live. And because it was a reverse mortgage, they didn't have any house payments. They just had to pay the association dues and utilities and the taxes, but no payments on the mortgage. Had it not been for the opportunity to have a reverse mortgage for purchase, they would have had to rent. And renting, then the rent could go up every year. This way, their house was paid for. The only thing that could increase always is taxes and the association fees slightly, and maybe their insurance. But there's a much more secure situation. So I think that reverse for purchase is something that people just overlook. I think it's an underused mortgage opportunity.
I agree with you, Valerie. I definitely agree with you, because it is a great opportunity for some people.
So, do you have such a thing in your area called ADUs? And does anyone use them?
So we do have ADUs in our area. I don't think it has caught on as much as it should with a lot of people. What we do have is multi-gen living, which is pretty much the same thing, attached multi-gen living, where the builders are um, creating or building homes with attached ADUs. We have one that's been sitting on the market here It's a huge home. I believe it's 6 bedrooms and
Whoa.
over 4,000 square feet. And the attached ADU has a kitchenette, a living room, a laundry room, um, a bathroom, and a huge 1 bedroom with a ensuite to that bedroom. So they could either make that another bedroom, they could
Sure.
use it for a craft room, and while
Yes.
the family lives in the main home, right? So we're seeing a lot of that. Those are very popular. Is the next
And
gen
and so let's tell our listeners and our viewers what is an ADU.
uh, an accessible dwelling unit?
Accessory dwelling. Yes, it is.
Yes,
So how it works is that, and you help me with this. So how it works is that sometimes, and especially here in Orange County, where housing is more established already, and they're not building them new, where you can add and you just sold a home like this, where the family built an additional unit in the back, like the size, let's say, of a 2-car garage or a one
yep,
and a half car garage,
yep,
where then someone else could come and live there. And now, because the state of California says they're so short on housing, they're encouraging people to do this. So you can be, it used to be you had a 10,000 square foot lot minimum before you could add what we called, for the purposes of, for our audience, a granny flat, right? That's the more popular name, or the mother in law quarters.
yes.
And then, and now you don't have to have a 10,000 square foot lot. And I think that's the case where you are. And so you can add this additional square footage, either attach it to your house, or I've seen some people, I'm sure you have too, where they make the garage into the ADU and
Yes,
then they build an additional garage.
yes. I've
And
seen
that,
that.
yeah, yeah, and you can do that. So this gives families the opportunity to have an additional living space where they don't have to, they can add on without having that person inside the house.
I
It's
think
much different than just adding a bedroom.
I think it definitely helps, um where affordability is very difficult right now, right? And for many families with aging parents, um they don't have the funds to put mom and dad, or mom or dad, in whether it's a memory care or any type of facility, and they need to keep them with them, right? So with the opportunity to build an ADU or convert the garage, I think it's an amazing opportunity for so many.
It is, and especially because it was harder to do. You had to have a huge lot. Now you don't have to.
That's right.
So it's very different, much easier. I think it's a seriously overlooked and underutilized opportunity to add square footage and an additional living space to your home that wasn't available even 5, 6, 7 years ago. Let me ask you a question, Elena. We know that in a lot of situations where family, senior, or older adults, we don't want to call them senior citizens, we don't use that word on this show, where older adults have to make decisions, that their children get involved because they're children for a couple of reasons. And I know you've seen this. For one is the children say, well, they're using my inheritance, right? So I want to know. Or number two, the children think they should do something, like my mom and dad need to move to a smaller home or assisted living or whatever. Do you see much of that in your area, in your price range? Is that also an issue that you deal with?
I do. I have found it more so for me, right? This is not for every other agent, but for me, I have found it where the children are getting involved. One where the older adult has already passed and they want to sell the home, okay? So I'm dealing with the children. Or B, the health has taken a toll on the older adult, and the children need to step in and help with the sale. That has been for me, where I'm particularly working with the children.
Do you have situations where the parents say, I don't need them to tell me what to do. Elena, I want you to listen to me and I want you to do what I tell you. And then the kids are saying, well, I want you to do what we tell you.
I think I've only had that once. It's been a while since that has happened, but yes, I have. it's been it was difficult for sure.
And do you ever have situations where you have children that are out of state and
Yes.
you have to deal with them?
Yes. And which isn't a problem at all. We just recognize the time differences and communicate by phone or by text. And it's really all about the customer and how they prefer to communicate. But being that they're out of state really isn't an issue at all. I'm really hands on, so anything that they need help with, um, I can I can do on my end for them.
So you're able to navigate those waters, so to speak, transition by committee.
Absolutely. Whether the parents need help with packing or the parents need help with really anything of the home, I can help the older adult um navigate that for the children.
We know, and we talked about this in our own group, that a transition when you're an older adult actually takes a team. So you need to have a mover, a senior move manager, sometimes a care manager. You need to have someone who's your real estate agent. You need to have someone who's your financial person. Do you build a team that you can refer to your clients, your buyers and sellers that way?
Absolutely. I think it comes with the territory, right? You build your team as you're going through your business for sure.
And do people stay in touch with you then all through their time as your client?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
And you
have
do events, don't you, for your past clients? Or you
I
call them past clients,
do.
but they're
I
not past.
do. I have clients that I've sold 3, 4, 5 years, and we still keep in touch. We still get together for coffee or still get together for lunch. Just try
How
to keep
fun.
in touch with them.
I know you do that. We often talk, Elena, about aging in place. And that aging in place doesn't mean you have it has to be in the house you're in now, but aging in place is how the house fits you as well as you fit the house. Do you find that when people move into a property like yours, be it a mobile home or be it a 55 plus community, do you still see them making modifications to age in place, such as grab bars, task lighting, doorways, stairs, ramps, those kind of things?
I think primarily we try to find the home that already has that. But if we're getting to the point where we're not finding the grab bars or we're not finding a step in shower or we're not finding that step in tub, we make adjustments, right? And buy the home that fits closest to their needs and just kind of factor in that that's going to have to be added in after the fact. But we do try to look for those things when we're looking for the home.
So, do you find that people don't have to make modifications to their home? They don't need grab bars added, or they're all there because the person who owned the home before them already had them?
I think it really depends upon the senior looking for the home, right? The older adult looking for the home, it depends where they're at what stage. So, um, preferably, a majority of older adults, they do like they want a move-in ready home that has all the things, right? But if there's one that's just about there with a few missing pieces, they will say, okay, let's move forward with this one. We can always add the grab bars. Or they'll say, do you have somebody that could install grab bars for me? or like a step-in shower for me. And we kind of work that in. Maybe we'll come in a little bit less on the price just to justify having to add those things. but
Interesting.
but seniors don't want a home that's outdated. They want something move-in ready. That's what we're finding.
And if I recall correctly, a lot of the homes in your area in the 55 plus communities have one car garages. Is that true?
um 1 and 2. It really depends what community, but there are 1 and 2 bedrooms. I'm sorry, 1 and 2 car garages.
And do any of them have golf cart parking?
They do. They actually do. Yes.
So when people call you and they say, okay, Elena, we've sold our home in Los Angeles and we want to move to your area. Love that area. Can't wait to come and go wine tasting and antique shopping. What are the things that they tell you are key components to their home search?
Absolutely. So, of course, as you know, Val, everybody's different, right? Everybody's at a different age level.
There.
So, um, the older adults are wanting um, something with no steps in the home, right? Um, with no carpeting. They want all smooth flooring. Um, many don't, if they do want a mobile home, they don't want paneling, right? If a mobile home is an option or is their only option, they want a mobile home with no paneling. They want a fully drywalled mobile home. Some want the wider doors, right? Or wider hallways. Did I say step in showers, step in showers, step in bathtubs? So those are some of the grab bars, just like you said. Hmm. Also,
And then,
close to medical offices, close to
yes,
shopping.
yes, I'm sure that close to medical is a big factor because if they can be close to their doctors, that's what's important.
Yes.
Although none of us want to have to be with our doctors, but sometimes that happens as we get older. As we get older, as we well know. So, what tips would you have for people who are just thinking about doing this? They haven't put their house on the market yet. They're really not sure they want to. They thought about going to Palm Springs, maybe buying a second home. Do you sell second homes to a lot of your older adult clients?
I typically am not a second home. I don't typically sell second homes. I just not my
So
kind of
people
house.
don't buy them for second home and then keep them for a couple of years and sell their old home and keep and move into
No.
yours.
Well, not to say people don't do that. I just don't. That's not.
You don't see a lot of it
Yeah, I don't
in
see a
yours.
lot of it. Correct.
How about in the newer communities? Are they likely to do it there?
Possibly, yeah. The newer communities that I have sold has really been for them to live in.
I see.
Hmm.
I see. So when someone has to, when you say to someone, okay, for the things you have and the money you have to spend, what are some of the things that people have to scale down on or give up or compromise on if budget is an issue?
I think space is one of the biggest ones, right? Because they will go from either a 2 to 3 bedroom home or more, and really have to just tailor down on the space to be able to afford the home. They need to get rid of a lot of things.
So they'll have to buy a smaller home
Yes.
if price is an issue.
Yes.
And what's the price range? And I know that's a loaded question, but what's the price range on like, mobile home communities in your area?
Sure. So I would say in like Menifee, you could find a mobile home in the mid to high 100,000s, up to mid twos, high twos in Menifee.
Hmm.
In Marietta, in a mobile home community, you're looking at high 300s to 500s.
Okay.
Temecula, your high 300s to 500s. In Hemet, did I say Hemet? You're
No, you didn't, but that's good that you added
yeah,
it.
you're 50, you're like at 50,000 up to mid 100,000s. So we're kind of well rounded. We have all levels, entry levels of mobile homes out here. But as far as homes, I would say Temecula Valley, the average median average is about 600,000. While in Menifee, you can still find the high 300,000s. It's already established an older 55 plus community. It's not going to be a newer, but then if you're looking at newer, you could find like the mid 500s in Menifee.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then tell me, people come to you and they say, okay, this is my price range. This is what I want. And you help them find you should tell them about some of the communities that they're most likely to find what they're looking for. So let me ask you a question. Are people willing to move area to get the property that they want? Or do people come to you and say, "Oh no, I want to live in Menifee or I want to live in Temecula"?
They typically already know what area they want to move in. Like I said, they're already kind of doing their research online. They're already looking at different communities. So they already come in and already know whether it's Menifee, Murrieta, Sun City, they already know where they want to buy.
And are many of your buyers coming there because their children are in that area?
Not so much. It's more affordability.
Sure.
Yeah,
But do any of them have children like in San Diego or those
correct.
areas?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. What advice do you have for people who are thinking about this, or you don't even, that you're saying, if you're thinking about doing this, here's some things you should consider first. Here's your list of what you should be thinking about, what's important, what you need to know, and what you need to do.
Of course, I think it's always about um, creating a creating a plan, right? I think that is the best thing that anybody can do, whether it's 55 plus or not, is first knowing what you're working with, right? So, do you have a home to sell? If you do, um, what would you sell it for, and what would you net out, and what is that time frame, right? Um,
Mhm.
do you obviously don't want to sell that home and then go rent for a while and then move again? You don't want to move three times. So what is the game plan for staying in that home until you move into the next home, right? So it's all about the structure. Structure for me, I feel like, is one of the biggest tips. Know what you're working with
Okay.
and let us tailor a plan that works, that just cohesively moves you from where you're at now into the next spot.
Can you tell us and give us an example, Elena, or tell us a story about someone who you've helped, maybe from the beginning of the process, or someone came to you later and you helped them, uh, helped guide them until they found something that was really a perfect situation for them?
Um, so there's been many times that I have done that,
Of course they
right?
have.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I think the biggest thing that I'm just gonna go right back to is that we do all of that planning up front before we even list the home. We know what we're going to list it for. We know what they're going to net out. We know what they're looking for afterwards. We've kind of already done a little bit of homework of what they want to buy. So we're really in tune with, is it realistic, right? And then everything down to the moving. How is that moving going to happen? who are we going to contact, who are we going to call, everything. So it's, again, I don't know if it's really anything to share other than just the structure itself is really having the game plan all figured out before you even list.
Yes, that's important.
That makes, and staying on track, because there has been times where people want to deviate from the game plan, and that makes it a very bumpy road.
Yes, sometimes people do, don't they?
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
And do you have a story of someone who you helped that was just kind of lost, or you did just a really great job in guiding them to
Well,
something much better than they ever expected?
well, I don't know about anything other than what they expected, but I do have where a client didn't listen and went to go, who actually wasn't going to buy again, right? They were going to rent for a
Oh,
while. And it was 55 plus, okay? But they went to go rent before we had the buyer in place. So
oh,
now they're paying, still paying their mortgage and paying a rental. And I'm like, that wasn't the game plan. You know,
so sad.
you didn't listen to me like we said we would get you time in the home after the home sold.
Yeah. So are they okay now?
Yes, they are.
Oh, great.
But it did create a lot of bumpiness, and it was rough.
A lot of stress that didn't need to have to
Yes,
happen.
absolutely.
Let me ask you a question. We talk about always ageless on this show, and we talk about ageism, where people think everybody over 55 plus, if you get to be 55, you're now in the 55 plus community. Whether you're 56 or you're 96, you're all the same. And you know how I feel about that. So, do you find any differences if you're dealing with someone who comes to you and they're 56 or they're 60 or they just retired at 62, for example? But then you have someone else who's maybe in their 70s, someone is in their 80s or 90s. Do they have a different set of issues? Do you handle them differently? What's important to them? Anything that you can tell us about those different groups?
Well, Val, I'm 55, right? So I am an aged adult, okay? Um and yes, there's definitely differences. There's certain things that matter more to the older adult than to, like, the younger the younger age, like mine, right? We have different needs. Yes, absolutely. And the older adult is more prone to be just very, very okay, roll with it, very easygoing, whereas, yes.
You find that?
Yes, how about you?
Well, I think I'm in between.
Yeah.
I'm not 55 and I'm not 95. So I still get a little edgy on some things, as you well know from some experiences today. But things are a little bit different. Um, but I think certainly, and I think over the last 5 or 6 years with going through COVID and things, we all had to make some adjustments to things that we didn't like. We didn't know if we were going to live the next day. We had people, in hospitals that couldn't come out, all kinds of things we had never dealt with before. And so I think a lot of us became a little bit more mellow. It was just had to be that way, and we didn't have any decision making power over ourselves. So I think that that's one thing. Plus, yes, I have gotten a little bit older. Plus, I value my relationships with my friends, as a lot of people who are close to me aren't with us any longer as you start to lose parents. You value your time and your relationships, and you value every single day. And things that would have been a really big deal to me just aren't the end of the world. If this was my last day on earth, that wouldn't be what I would want to argue with my husband about.
Yes.
So I think yes. And we just went through a big change in our family. We moved houses and did huge downsizing, um there's some things that just weren't that important. If it was what my husband wanted and he was happy, I was just so glad to have him.
That's
So,
right.
yes, I do think that that's the case.
Yep.
Now, will I get more mellow when I'm 95? I don't know. That would be really asking a lot. But what about physical things? Do people want less or more or different things as they age? Do you see that as it relates to housing?
They want the home to really conform to them, right? Like the cabinets, they want to be able to reach the cabinets and not feel like they can't reach up for a glass. So we
Yes.
look at all those things. And sometimes in a lot of the resale homes, um, it's not that. So we're having to correct it or have it fixed for them.
That's a really good point because I happen to be not very tall and you're not very tall.
Right.
So in our newer house, a lot of we have really tall cabinets. I just can't reach them. I can't reach the fan over my stove, for example. So so what we had to do to make me happy was I bring down 2 plates, 2 cups, 2 saucers, 2 drinking glasses, 2 bowls, and put them in the pantry at my level. So I can reach things if I want them and I'm home by myself. So it's a really good point that you talk about. Um, it also could be an aging thing that you just can't reach or aren't as comfortable getting on a stool.
Right. We really pay attention to those things for our clients and really dig in and find out what are the important things that matter to them. What are
Yes.
they looking for? What's important to them? So we can help look for that.
And don't you find, Elena, that sometimes, as for medical reasons or disease or things that happen, that couples take on different roles? That maybe the husband is the one that's not well. So you have to make adjustments because now the wife is the one who has to be in charge of certain things. Or the wife is going to be the one that needs a little place to put tools for her because now she's going to have to be the fix it person, right?
Right. Yes.
And those kind of things. Does that make sense? Do you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just it's a beautiful thing to be able to help people in general, right? At every stage of life.
It is, and it's interesting and so not demanding, but it draws me, and I know you so much to people that they want to have help, and maybe their children aren't close by, and they've always been the leader in the house, and the husband or the wife always been the one that's done all of the fixing and the cooking and the handyman things. And now they're in a different stage in their life. They're not old, they're just in a different stage of their life where they might not have asked for help, especially the husbands might not have asked for help, but now they're willing to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we find that the ones that are not in the position to ask for help or are not in the position to um, fix or modify their home, we look for the things that matter to them. We
Of
look
course.
for the things that are important for them to live a very comfortable.
Yes, that's true. And it's good that you do. And I know that those people love you so much. And one of the things I hear is sometimes people talk about, and I saw one of my colleagues put on her bio that we help people with their last home. But that's kind of not an interesting thought. Do you think that if people are relatively healthy, that they couldn't have another home? Do have people that ever move just because they want something different? Do they come and they say, okay, this is my last home?
I don't think they really. I haven't heard them come and say this is my last home. I have heard it a few times though. Yeah, they said, "Well, I'm not moving again."
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yep.
um, but yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah. I thought so too. You have a new series, which I'm really excited about. And I'm so proud of you and so excited that you brought this out. So we want all of our viewers and listeners to know about your new series called Senior Living Sundays. Tell
Yes.
us what motivated you to start this. what it is and what people can expect to find.
Thank you. I honestly just wanted to pour into my past senior clients, right? And put out their education and all things living this senior life, right? I have helped many seniors in my career. I love helping them. I love working with them, and just want to put valuable information out there for them.
And what can people find when they come to your senior living Sundays? Because I would expect that even though it's live on Sundays, but then you have it on YouTube or someplace where they can go back and refer to your previous episodes.
Yes, I haven't gotten that far yet, but
Oh, well, we can help you with that.
it is on YouTube Shorts. And it started with wanting to highlight the senior communities in the Valley. Um, but then I found I wanted to give a little break in between and do something a little bit different. And I thought, why not do something educational? And then why not give something that they can do in the Valley? So I just started venturing outside of just senior living. So it's kind of all things 55 plus living.
Great. So will people hear about the type of homes that are available as well as things they should think of being in the older adult category?
Absolutely. I'm still building it. We're probably about 8 weeks in. So it's evolving, it's growing, I'm learning myself. So it'll be all that and more.
Great. And where can people find it?
It's on Instagram, it is on Facebook, it is on TikTok and YouTube.
And it's on your Facebook page?
Yes. Yes.
And what is your Facebook page?
It's Elena Flores Homes.
ELENAFLORES Homes, HOMES, correct?
Yep.
Great. Great. Now, for our viewers and our listeners, they're just little 1-minute clips, so they're not too hard to listen to. They're easy to listen to, packed with information, valuable information, tips, tools, and about the housing in the area. I know she had one episode like where to buy if you want to spend less than $500,000, for example, and other things you need to consider that may or may not having to do with the house that you're living in right now. Elena, for the people who are listening to you and need someone to guide them, they're looking for a guide, not a salesperson. Give them a few of your closing tips and thoughts about why they should come and work with you. We know, but you can tell them.
Oh my gosh. First of all, I don't think I come across very salesy. I'm here to guide whether you want to move forward now or later on in the future. I'm just here to help you, help give you clarity. And maybe they're feeling kind of all over the place with what they want to do. Well, let's have a conversation and just maybe make things more clear for you. So really it's about clarity and guidance and a little bit of education.
And let's tell them before we close that you also speak from personal experience because you have an 80-some-year-old mom who lives with you and you've had to go through some of these things as you're not only the caregiver, but the guardian, so to speak, for your own aging mom.
Absolutely. I do. Yes.
So you're the senior, the caregiver of an older adult, and you're the sandwich generation, and you're all of those things.
All of those things, Val. All of those things.
Elena Flores, thank you for being with us again on Always Ageless. We hope to have you back. We're excited, and congratulations on your Senior Living Sunday series. We're going to follow you, and we might just have to copy you a little bit.
I'd love it. Thank you, Valerie.
All right. Thank you so much. And to our listeners and our viewers, come and see us again next Monday. Thank you for joining us on Always Ageless. Send us your questions and your thoughts. We do read all of our emails and we'll answer those for you again in our next episodes. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful week. And don't grow old, grow bold. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Valerie.